Hey everyone, just Brawler here, and giving you my review of episode 6 of Shokugeki no Soma Food Wars, third dish, episode 6, The Imprisoned Queen. And this time, this episode takes away all the cooking aspects from, obviously doesn't like get away with it. We still see cooking later in the episode towards the end of it, but mostly the big, heavy episode moments of this episode was mostly towards most specifically the origin of Aina, and between her and her father, that made her be scared of. I would say mostly in the side of scared or fear. That's the same, yeah, definitely more on the side of fearing her father because of what happened in her past. The episode before anything goes down, the episode did start off with a small moment between Gin and Jojiro. Former high school students, former Polish dormitory residents, and former members of the Elite 10, with Jojiro being the second seat and Gin being the first seat. Haven't seen each other for years. The two of them haven't seen each other for many years. Gin was mad at Jojiro because it's not raining so much. He feared that he would die in the ditch by screaming at his face while Jojiro had his ear covering his ears the whole time like this. Like, okay, we're going back to this now. Like, can't you seriously stop? You're really hurting my ears. But we have this small moment where Gin did meet Yukio Soma, Jojiro's son. And then we get a phone. Then Gin gets a phone call saying the fact that Sezuma's son. Don't know. Sezuma's old man Akiri officially retired from his CS director when they found out that Azumi took over his seat. And we're taken to a small shot of all the Elite 10 students at the time when both Gin and Jojiro were students. Turns out the next on Gin's left side, Azuma Nakiri was the former third seed Elite 10, but he was a first year. But I don't think many people knew the fact that he was a first year. But I think that's a spoiler for mostly for those who didn't read the manga. We haven't read the manga at this point, but up to the point where right now. But yes, Azumi was part of Elite 10 as third seed. But in history, I think some point history turns with the negative channel and erase the fact that he was the youngest to join the Elite 10, claiming that Aina is currently the youngest one, being the 10th seed. That scene was done. We're now taken to another shot of the voting of the Elite 10, when majority of the Elite 10 from a 6 out of 10 vote. Actually, okay, I'm trying to remember how many people. 3 were out. 6 out of 10 votes. 6 out of 10 vote was for favoring the change of having Azumi Nakiri being the new director. And there was a small shot of Aina looking at her face like mostly, that's not disappointment, but more on the line of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Of worriness, and I think I say worriness in a way for how Sutsuki Academy is going to go to a completely different direction and favoring of the new Azumi administration. Eventually, we all know who I'm going to lose down to, but it's not until much later into the season. Then we're taken to another shot of Soma meeting old man Nakiri. And before we even get moving forward, I want to take a moment to realize something. Right when he opens up, this is the second time that Soma in the entire series has seen the guy, basically an alumni of the school, just flexing his muscles so hard right now. In the first season, he sees Gin in the shower stretching like this with muscle, with biceps, triceps, pecs, abs, and everything else. And he sees the same thing with old man Nakiri, just stretching with all his muscling, with every muscle just, like Mr. Macho Man. I just cannot believe they brought that back. This is the second time in the entire series someone has walked into someone stretching without their clothes on. Not in a gay way, mind you, but for comedic reasons. Then we're leaning to the shot between the two of them running. Surprising the fact that it was even a small shot of old man Nakiri doing pull-ups all the time, and then like 5-6 backflips, landing perfectly and not breaking his back. That guy definitely knows how to keep his for his age. He knows how to rip. Master Roshi, I think you have some competition on muscle here. I'm old man beefcaking this right now. And then old man Nakiri goes into him. Take all of the stuff away for a minute. He goes down to the big stuff. How Asumi changed Aaron's life. past Aaron used to be laughing. Despite having the god tongue, she always knew how to laugh. Mostly with Alice, because those two were basically close most of the time. She was around most of the time. So until Alice went to Scandinavia, things all changed. Asumi took her into a small room with a table and with 2 plates, and asked her to critique which one's the better dish. She chose the right dish, though this had something was completely off. And Asumi told her to waste the food. Let the store all away. She goes to one bite, and that's it. So which one is the better food, and throw all the rest of the way out. Though she said no to it, Asumi grabbed her by the wrist here. I do not condone. That's not in the form of child abuse, but mostly in a way of forcing her to do something. Grabs her by the wrist, throws it at her, and keeps doing this over and over and over again. To the point where it was like almost like second nature to her, like constantly making that she has no remorse to any lackluster foods. They came to Aaron became to be so far we know in love that we all know at this point, but at least she has some form of emotions, and now at least to when Asumi was finally exiled from Tsuzuki Academy from any form of history with the Nake family until he came back, staged in part with the Elite 10 and staged in a coup that got him become the new director, and Ome Nakedi being kicked off the administration. And with 6 out of 10 both the Elite 10, we know how that's going to go down for the Elite 10 moving forward. But they're taking this one shot. In terms of most heartwarming moments of the entire series of Food Wars at this point, I have a top 5 moments listed for both the anime and manga, but one shot here ranks in the top 5 right here. This is the moment where I did not expect Ome Nakedi to get into at this point. Ome Nakedi to do. He sits down, bows his head like this, and begs Soma to save Aina. And that moment right there shows the fact that how much that moment right there shows the fact that Ome Nakedi is putting this much faith into Soma and saving Aina from her father, making Asumi like the biggest threat the entire school's ever faced. And knowing how far we're known from the manga at this point, we know how badly things got when Asumi was under administration. Begging Soma to save her. Soma on your hand doesn't technically agree to it. More like the fact that it has nothing to do with him. The challenge between the Nagane family was always complicated, but he always will make one way to. He always has this one motive in mind for Aina, always to say his food is delicious. Because the one time he hasn't really forgotten the point where she said his food was disgusting when they first met, he still vows to make her say delicious. So in a way, in his own words, Soma will save Aina from her father, but not in the way that Asumi, in the way that Ome Nakedi thought of. But he still has faith in him, and that shot right there in the moment that just solidified the fact that Soma is like basically trying to meet this golden. Ome Nakedi based Soma as his golden hero in order to save his granddaughter, who's now currently in prison, when her father is really brought into the scene. And our second is also important in the episode where Erin is sitting in her bed, going back to flashbacks, some horror flashbacks of from her past, while Alice, Ryo, and Hisako decided to take her away from her house and make her run away. But also, I did forget to mention the fact that there was this one scene where Hisako was with Aina and Asumi, telling the fact that with a look on her face of shock and utter disbelief that she will no longer be the aide of Aina. Asumi will take over that spot. So much disappointment, so much like disbelief and shock in that face, and seeing Aina just say, "Yes, father." It turns out she is terrified of resenting her father. Aina knew the fact that this going to go back to things were before. So all four of them, mostly 3 take 1, and going to run off to school. And Alice, they said this. In times like this, no more boys and girls always run away from home from this. But Anna still fears resenting her father, Asumi, and wants to go back. But Alice I did not expect this line from her. Just, "Don't be such a pussy," and show some backbone, Anna. I cannot believe I just hear that came out of Alice's mouth. Of all the characters to say that, Alice drops it so hard. I'm just like looking at it, I just can't stop laughing for that whole segment because after seeing that moment and moving forward for like a few seconds of that scene, it was all funny just seeing characters seeing all these three characters, Alice, Rio, and Hisako. Describe my screen went black there again. Alice, Rio, and Hisako just going to complain about like where's she gonna go, where's she gonna she's gonna stay in a hotel room, but she's too sheltered. It's not gonna fit her. I'll be covering, and you'll most likely be something else, I don't know. That scene was so funny. Aaron was just back there just watching all this go unfold until one silhouette, until a person, until ready Megami in the rain asked them to come inside to the dormitory because they're actually right there, to dry off and take a bath because they got wet from the rain. Which leads to the moment where Aina is going to take shelter in the Pulsar dormitory for a bit and become a pseudo-resident. Spoiler for those who didn't read the manga yet, Aina is not really considered a resident of the Pulsar dormitory. It's more of a pseudo because that's mostly her hiding space for now, but seeing how much she's seen the Pulsar dormitory residents act, she basically, well then it's mostly towards the episodes much more later, after a certain point, which I think we're going to get to in this season, which definitely opening, we're definitely going to see that. So the episode ends. So Soma also comes into the picture. He sees Aina, Wednesday and residents here, but they also cannot just go over from the fan services. The fan service here, there was two shots, like back and forth shots between the Pulsar, the residents, and Aina in the bath while she was taking her clothes off. So still shots of her covered, was wet, her clothes were everything all wet, and then she gets her bath, and Hisako tells everyone what her backstory was, and as she gets out of the bath, every resident just jumps at her, crying their eyes out, begging, actually not begging, more like agreeing to the fact that they'll keep her safe for now. Well, in fact, then they were considering the fact that I think that was a little bit too sketchy, and that this was maybe a bad situation for them because they're keeping her safe away from Azumi, who's currently the new administrator, the new director of the school, and eventually he will find out where she is. Again, that will lead up to mostly what happens to go down later on in the season. And then we get to a shot between Aaron and they're cooking, mostly from one of the two idiots of the group. I forgot one of his name. Those are the dish. And of course she eats it, but she goes back into her god tongue. If I was there personally, I would have done like one of those like you might see anime I've seen like seeing a character always chop a person's head off like this for his point of stupidity or something like that. I would have been right there to say, just forget the god tongue for today. Just enjoy some free food because you're getting this dish right now. You're enjoying some free food. But I was right there screaming at the screen, right there saying that just forget the god tongue. Forget your critical analysis and just enjoy some food. Because you're being hiding from your dad right now. You're still going to be the god tongue? Come on, Arena. There's also time and place for everything. This is not the time for it. Then we're taken, and then after the critics and the analyst was done, at first he was shocked, but then all this list of fire in everyone's asses for that they finally get a chance to be tasted by the god tongue, and they'll live pretty much of a challenge. Every single one of the students, there's all the residents of Ishiki Satoshi Senpai, who only knows the god tongue from personal experience from being only 10. If everything makes sense, someone cooks up a decent TTC, then Arena sees a scene of someone with an apron, and she's vaguely similar to a shot of JoJo back when she was young. Then shot the fact that, why does he look so familiar to me? Which again, you'll find out later in the season. I keep saying this because all this moment right now is leading into moments later in the season that I'm pretty sure the season will cover. If I know from the order from the events, first with the Moon Festival, then Asumi's entrance, I know which one is coming up next. I cannot say for spoilers reasons, for those who didn't read the manga. But for right now, I have to say this was mostly towards a character development for Ariana trying to see grow in the sign of this is the beginning of her resenting her father, and the Pulsar dormitory students will take care of her for now. This episode hits so much on the heartstrings. You can see the backstory of what made Ariana to the person that she is thanks to her father, how sadistic her father was, and this confirmed that this was not training, this was more brainwashing. And the episode ends with Asumi giving a new status quo for the school, moving forward to its utopia, while the French student, Chapelle Sensei, Only this is not this is dystopia where where the demonic dictator just split the world in two and shot at him holding a purple flame from his hand. Everything around him, the background was black, skulls and chains, where everything were all purple, and the way it was like, this guy is truly a demon. And that's where we ended up. This episode was very much more towards the character backstory of Eren and how she became the character she came to be from her father, how sadistic he was, and how to perceive the God Tongue, and asking for the one shot, one of my personal favorite shots of the entire series, of Old Man Nakani bending down for someone to save her. And moving forward, things are going to get pretty much hectic from the Azumi administration. And we're only 6 episodes in. I don't know how many episodes we're in order for the season. But I feel like we're going to get overall with so many moments. I could see 20 episodes, 25 episodes, 26 episodes being filled for this. But in the evening, we're running for Black Clover. That will be out tomorrow. That'll be coming out tomorrow. But this is season 6. This whole was hit the heartstrings, hit every moment. It made me laugh to the point I didn't think I was going to expect to laugh. It hit mostly every moment I was expecting for this episode. And moving forward, things are going to get completely crazy. We'll wait to see what goes on forward for episode 7 and moving forward. So until then, leave a like, subscribe, comment, all those with a friend, and I'll see you all next time. Laters.